1217 News Talk 630 WMAL. You are listening to Law Call. We're going to get to the phones, and you can call us right now. Two ways to do it. 1-800-LAW-CALL. That's 1-800-529-2255. Or call us at 202-432-WMAL, 432-9625, the number to call. We go to Beth in Fairfax. Hello, Beth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Thank you for taking my call. I just have I'm curious. Someone who was actually an employer mentioned to me that a situation that I had been in was one that I did have some legal grounds to go back, and I just wanted to see if that was true or false. I was working for a hotel chain, a major chain. I was in management due to some interesting circumstances. I went through a 7-month period where I was working 80 and 90 hours a week. And being salaried, I didn't get compensated for that.
Beth, I think you said the magic words when you said you were a member of management.
Mm-hmm.
And under the Fair Labor Standards Act, there are what is known as white-collar exceptions that allows an employer to work employees who meet these qualifications over 40 hours a week without giving them additional compensation. And it sounds like your situation falls into one of those categories. There's two things. You have to meet the duties test. In other words, your job responsibilities have to either be professional, administrative, or executive, and assuming they meet those criteria, then you have to be paid on a salaried basis. And if you meet both of those criteria, then you're considered an exempt employee, the exempt meaning exempt from the 40-hour overtime requirement under the Fair Labor Standards Act. So I think your employer may have been acting a little unreasonably to schedule you and work you at such prolonged hours over an extended period of time, but from a legal standpoint, they have that prerogative.
Beth, in my past experience, I dealt a lot with hotels, and virtually every manager in a hotel works somewhere between 40 and 80 hours a week. You're not the only one that's been in that boat. And let me ask you this question, Leizer. What I'm hearing here is one way to take this is give them a title, make them a manager, and then work them to death.
Well, like I say, we're going to
9 managers in a 12-month period.
We're going to put you on that Supreme Court. I mean, you've got this whole racket figured. I think we could give you an honorary law degree at a minimum here. We would have to ask, I'm sure Tom would agree, we would have to ask Beth a bunch of questions to find out whether the employer was actually violating the law or not. He recited the standard accurately, but the question really gets down to the details. For instance, just because they say you're a manager doesn't mean you're a manager in the eyes of the law. Now, you may well be a manager. I can ask you a couple of questions real fast, like, did you supervise anybody in that job?
Yes.
How many people did you supervise?
When we were fully staffed, 20.
Did you have hiring and firing authority?
No.
Well,
I had firing, but not hiring.
Well, yeah, you're probably a manager, and you probably don't have any rights under that law. But I think that for the general audience out there, what's important is to understand that just because you are told by management that you are exempt from the requirements of the Fair Labor Standards Act and not entitled to overtime does not mean that's true. And if you have any question, you might want to contact a lawyer or the Department of Labor in your state and find out if they're really correct in the way they're classifying you.
Rick, a quick tip for employers. This is an area that comes in for a lot of controversy, and I think employers are well advised to take a look at how they're classifying their employees, because we've seen lots of cases where after the employee leaves the employment, they go to somebody like Leizer. Leizer goes over his checklist, and lo and behold, if the person doesn't meet those criteria, then there could be a substantial back pay liability, not only for that individual, but for a number of their co-workers as well. So I think it's very important for employers to take a look at the people they're calling exempt employees to make sure that they do meet all of the criteria necessary for the exemption.
And employees should take the same look at their own situation. I agree with that completely.
News Talk 630 WMAL. Beth, thanks for the call. We're at 12:22. We're going to break real quick. We'll come back to your calls at 202-432-WMAL, 432-9625, or you can call us direct at 1-800-LAW-CALL. That's 1-800-529-2255.